I spent a couple hours this morning watching the hearing here in Fulton County, Georgia, brought by one of the defendants, one of the RICO defendants in Trump's attempt to overthrow the government, overthrow the votes of the people here in Georgia. And Trump's defense team is going after the Fulton County District Attorney, Fani Willis, and the fact that one of her prosecutors and she are involved in a romantic affair. And as I sat and watched this testimony, watched this hearing on MSNBC, and I watched the defendant, I guess you would call him a defendant, Nathan Wade, who was the attorney that Fani Willis had hired for this case. And Nathan Wade and Fani Willis have a romantic relationship. Nathan Wade is divorced now, I believe, and at the time, I think he is. And at the time, while he was going through the divorce, apparently he and Fani were spending time together. And the questions this morning were all centered on all this personal stuff of Fani Willis and Nathan Wade and his divorce, everything that was in his divorce petition practically, and he divorced his now former wife. She was having an affair with somebody way back in 2015. Now, how do I know this? I'm embarrassed to even talk about it, but this is what came out over national television. And I'll get to the evil bastard Trump doing this in a moment. But all of these details that are so personal, so hurtful, and I know because I have gone through this. I have gone through a divorce. Well, I'll just leave it at that. I've gone through a divorce. And I know how painful it was just to talk to my attorney about what was in the divorce petition and this circumstance and that circumstance. But to have it on national television, it was just so painful to sit there and watch Nathan Wade, the prosecutor that Fani Willis hired to run this case against these 19 criminals who tried to take away from the residents of Georgia, the voters of Georgia, their decision. And as I'm watching this, it started to occur to me how all of Trump's accusers, all the prosecutors, all the judges, everyone who is aware of what this evil Nazi son of a bitch has done all of his life, what he has done in the past 8-9 years as he tried to destroy democracy in this country. We're all aware of what this evil bastard has done. And yet, the accusers, the prosecutors, the judges, the witnesses, every single one of them, according to this foul, stinking Donald Trump, every one of those people has to be absolutely, positively pristine in their personal life, because if they are not, this rapist son of a bitch will hire attorneys who will try to shred the testimony of witnesses against this son of a bitch, and the ones against whom they are not able to shred the testimony, Trump unleashes his vermin against to death threat them and threaten their children and stalk them. This is all coming from an admitted adulterer. Well, just grab them by the, because they love that. I always do. I can't help myself. An admitted, a convicted rapist in the E. Jean Carroll case, where it was, he didn't insert his penis. Oh, it's just his fingers? Oh, okay. Jesus God, a liar, a grifter, a son of a bitch who is evil and rotten through every aspect of his life. And yet the witnesses against him, the people trying to save this country from this rotten bastard, have got to be absolutely church-going, hymn-singing, hand-clapping Christians who would never, ever, 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 ever do anything that the orange bastard has done repeatedly. And allegedly, this is how our system of justice works. When the state goes after somebody, there has to be all sorts of exit ramps that the accused can skate down in order to get away from the power of the state. That's how it was set up in our Constitution and how it was amended over the years in our Constitution to protect the people who are accused of a crime from law enforcement or the legal system taking advantage of the accused. The accused has got to have certain rights, and I fully agree with that. But to watch a filthy, rotten human being like Donald Trump use every single aspect of the judicial system, the jury system, the trial system, the witness system, testimony, all of it, against the people who have only brought the case because they know that he is a rotten bastard who is breaking the law, violating the Constitution, do everything that he can with his minions, his little fascist minions who hover around him like flies around a dung heap. Oh, I get so angry. So the hearing today is about this romantic relationship between Fani Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney, and doesn't Trump hate her? First of all, she's a woman. Second of all, she's, oh my God, a black woman. And Trump can't stand that. The fact that this woman has indicted him and 18 other son of a bitches for the crimes they committed here in Georgia, some of whom have pled guilty. Trump is guilty. They're all guilty. You know it. I know it. The prima facie evidence is that audio that we've all heard where Trump is threatening the Republican Georgia Secretary of State that he may be in deep legal trouble if he doesn't do what Trump tells him to do. So he is guilty. But what the bastard has done is hired these vicious, nasty attorneys who are trying to discredit Fani Willis, discredit Nathan Wade, get them taken off the case. And surely somebody has told this orange son of a bitch that even if the judge rules that way, that Fani Willis and Nathan Dade are off the case will proceed. This is not about Fani Willis or Nathan Dade's relationship, whatever it was. This is about the crimes committed in this state by this evil Nazi son of a bitch, Donald Trump. And the hearing today began with the witness testifying that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade were in a romantic relationship earlier than they have acknowledged. Now, if that turns out to be absolutely true, then Fani Willis and Nathan Wade are in deep shit because they both, I believe, they both have signed affidavits to which they swore an oath that the details they gave in this mess have been proper and absolutely correct. Now, the defense, that would be the orange monster, sees all the little details here as crucial for arguing that the lead prosecutor, Nathan Wade, and the Fulton County District Attorney should be disqualified from the case because of something that they have done together that has not a goddamn thing to do with the crimes committed by Trump and his gang. Now, the people representing Trump, they in this hearing, they say that the relationship between these two, Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, that the relationship has created what they're claiming to be a terrible, awful conflict of interest. How? How is it a conflict of interest? Now, I ask that question rhetorically, but I mean the question, I don't know. That's what they're trying to prove. That's what Trump's filthy, lying, despicable witnesses are trying, or attorneys are trying to do. They're trying to shred the case by shredding the prosecutor and the district attorney for things they may or may not have done as individuals, have nothing to do with this goddamn case against Trump. Now, the revelations of this relationship between Willis and Wade came in a legal filing last month from a former Trump campaign official who's one of the defendants in the Georgia case. His name is Michael Roman. And a friend of Miss Willis, a woman named Robin Yurty, testified first this morning. I saw her, and she said she had no doubt that the romance began before Willis hired Mr. Wade for the case. And that would contradict the timeline that has been presented by the prosecutors going after Trump, who said it began in early 2022, after Wade was hired in November of 2021. And on the witness stand, Nathan Wade stuck by his timeline. So I'm not going to get into this because any more than I already have, because to me it's just another example of this criminal, rotten, rapist, grifting son of a bitch Donald Trump using the legal system, the judicial system, once again, as he has his entire life. Only now it's really, really critical to weasel out of any responsibility for the crimes he's committed. And it is absolutely pertinent this time because the son of a bitch has a plan to destroy the country. We saw what happened on January 6, 2021. What Trump has in mind for this country, if he gets the presidency again, would make what happened on January 6th, with all due respect to the people who were injured or who died. Trump is planning to make that look like a Sunday school picnic. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.